Shalom, shalom, family. Hope all is well with you and yours. Of course, as always, what a blessing it is to be with you on today. And of course, Baruch Hashem Abba Yah, right? Always blessings in Yah. Today, our topic will be the Jews in Timbuktu. To begin, we will start off by looking at some interesting facts about Timbuktu, beginning with fact number 1, and that is, Timbuktu has gone down in history as being one of the greatest learning centers between the 14th and 16th century. Many scholars and great teachers found their home in Timbuktu. Even today, Timbuktu is known for their universities and their vast amount of libraries found throughout the city. The Zakhor University, built by Mansa Musa in 1327, is one of the most prestigious Islamic universities, learning institutions, producing thousands of students who studied multiple subjects, such as astronomy and medicine, and even law. Mansa Musa is on record as being the richest man in the world, and by his leadership, Timbuktu became the hub of knowledge, culture, and trade. And people traveled from all around the world just to visit and learn at their institutions for education. Timbuktu was a major stop on the trans-Saharan trade route, where the value of salt was so high that it was traded for gold of equal weight. Until explorers like René Caillat came down from Europe in the 19th century, Timbuktu was known as the mystical city of gold throughout all of Europe. Over 7,000 ancient manuscripts from Timbuktu still exist, containing centuries of knowledge on science, history, and philosophy. Many of these ancient manuscripts are still preserved in libraries and in private collections. Timbuktu can be compared to today's New York or London due to the fact that it was the center of global finance and trade. Make no doubt about it, Timbuktu is legendary, and its influence on culture still holds its mark today. However, there is a little-known fact that there were Jews, Yehudi, who lived in Timbuktu during this time. They also have a story, and we want to look at that today as we continue to track the scattered tribes of Yasharel throughout the four corners of the earth. So looking at the website Jewish Virtual Library, Mali Virtual Jewish History Tour, it reads this: during the 8th century, the Radhanites, Jewish African multilingual traders, began to settle in Timbuktu, Mali. They established a trading center from which they set up a network of trading routes throughout the desert. More Jews began to arrive in the 14th and 15th century, fleeing the Spanish Inquisition. Then, in 1492, the local king, Askia Muhammad, threatened the Jews with death if they did not convert to Islam. As the historian Leo Africanus wrote in 1526, the king Askia is a declared enemy of the Jews. He will not allow any to live in the city. If he hears it said that a Berber merchant frequents them or does business with them, he confiscates his goods. While some chose conversion, many fled from the country. So looking at the Spanish Inquisition, the Inquisition was originally intended primarily to identify heretics among those who converted from Judaism and Islam to Catholicism. The regulation of the faith of newly converted Catholics was intensified following the royal decrees issued in 1492 and 1502, ordering the Jews and the Muslims to convert to Catholicism or leave Castile or face death, resulting in hundreds of thousands of forced conversions, torture, and executions, the persecution of conversos and moriscos, and the mass expulsions of Jews and Muslims from Spain. So we know that the Spanish Inquisition was the reason why many Jews were taken off into slavery, but then also they were expelled out of Spain and out of Portugal. As we see here, a number of those went down into the land of Timbuktu. So looking at HebrewIgbo.com, Jews of Mali, it says that the Jews of Mali, sometimes referred to as Zakhor, meaning remember, are descendants of Egyptian and Zaharan Jewish traders. It reads, in the 14th and 15th centuries, Jews fleeing Spanish persecution settled in Timbuktu. Members of the Kati family founded 3 villages that still exist near Timbuktu: Kirishamba, Hebamo, and Congo Ugara. In a manifesto published in 1996, the members of Zakhor recognized themselves as Jews and declared themselves to be descendants of the Jews of Tawat. The Tawat, the region at the limit of the Sahara in western Algeria, was up to 1492 inhabited by Jews involved in the trans-Saharan trade. So again, we see this hatred for the Yehudim, the Yehudi, here in Timbuktu, also being later expelled out of Timbuktu and pushed out. So again, looking at the Zakhor, who are they? They are today a black Judaizing movement in Mali comprising of 1,000 people. It was founded in Timbuktu in 1993 by the Malayan historian Ismail Dede Haidara, whose followers claim that they are the offspring of the Saharan Jews. Haidara, the leader of Zakhor, noted that the Jews could not go further. In front of the great Nile of the Arabs, they stopped facing the Quran and the sword. They converted. This is how he concluded the black Jews became Muslims. Today, the members of Zakhor portray themselves as a small, early Jewish population, which is said to have been superseded by the subsequent Islamic community, with only tiny remnants of Judaism surviving. In the book Description of Africa by Leo Africanus 1550, it reads that the land between Abbasia and the Congo in Africa was called the land of the Hebrews. As we referenced Leo Africanus earlier for writing this book, The Description of Africa, he does include Timbuktu, and we do know that Timbuktu and the Mali Kingdom was in fact Islamic. However, we do find Jews in the region, settling in the land. In fact, this is confirmed by Leo Africanus as he writes his book, The Description of Africa. He describes the land from Algeria to the land of Congo as being the land of the Hebrews. So we know that they were Hebrews there, and we see them settling in the city of Timbuktu. And of course, we know that many would be converted to Islam. A Journal of African Studies, Beyond the Saharan Cloak, Uncovering Jewish Identity from Southern Morocco and Throughout the Sahara. Written by Janice R. Levi. On page 117, it reads this. Known labels such as New Christians, Conversos, and Crypto Jews were commonly associated with concealed Jewish identity, as well as the Portuguese term Lancados, or the thrown out ones. In The Black Jews of Africa, Edith Bruder analyzes the role of the Lancado in the Portuguese Empire and the support they received to engage in trade off the West African coastline. These populations, largely made up of exiled Jews and Portuguese criminals, were banished to imperial territories. Removed due to the climate of the Inquisition, Jews were able to set up successful trading networks, especially through connection with their co-religionists in the trans-Saharan Africa, and seemingly practiced their faith with more freedom in the African locales. However, their success in trade and abilities to move about was tethered to their faith concealment through the use of labels that did not identify them as Jewish persons and by hiding their religious customs. So as we see Yehudi being pushed out of Spain, being pushed out of Portugal, and throughout the Mediterranean, moving into Africa. Jews were already in Africa at this time, but many had been pushed into this region and were trading with other Yehudim. Okay, as we saw earlier, throughout the Sahara Desert, we find them trading goods with one another. And really, truly, wherever you see Yehudim, doesn't matter if it's in Mali, they're in Timbuktu, or if it's in Nigeria with the Igbos, you see us being very industrious. Right? We've always been an industrious people, as we can see throughout the word of the Most High. We have always been an industrious people. And even during this time, there's heavy persecution beginning to go on. Of course, we know the transatlantic slave trade is beginning to occur during this time span. But we see the Israelites being persecuted to the point where they're even hiding their identity, they're hiding their ethnicity. Imagine that. They're hiding their identity in the land that they're in. Apparently, they were able to have some success in that hiding of their identity. They are in a land where the people look very much similar. They're in Africa. However, we know that many were revealed by the mere fact that they were Yehudim. Now, we know that those that were not converted were unalived or later taken into slavery. So we will conclude there. Hopefully that gave you some information that you can glean off of. Let's help spread this information, family, by liking, sharing this information with someone else, and putting in the comments of what you think about our people, the Yehudi, Yasharel, being in Timbuktu. What do you think about that? And maybe you have some more information. Put it in the comments. We want to know about it, but we want to get this information out. As always, family, may your rejoicing be in the Most High. Through Him and His love, we are more than conquerors. When we are weak, He is definitely strong. Enjoy your time. Enjoy your family. Shalom. Shalom. If you got something out of this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment in the comment section below. It helps to grow the channel. Thank you, and may the Most High bless you.